My name's Dave Schuler, and I'm here to kind of give everybody a heads up on what's coming and how we should all prepare for it. I wrote a couple scriptures just to kind of set the foundation. Everybody, Isaiah 41:10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be thou not dismayed, for I am thy God. I will strengthen thee. Yes, I will help thee. I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness. We prepare. Proverbs 22:3. A prudent man foresees evil and hides himself. Proverbs 18:10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. So what I am wanting to share with you today is kind of my style of prepping for what's to come. Anybody have an idea what could come? Earthquakes, tsunamis, yeah. Definitely earthquakes. Flooding, depending on where you live.
El Nino.
Landslides, El Nino.
Fires.
I've lived through floods myself. Fires, this is a horrible fire season for California. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, and we just need to be prepared. It's just smart to be prepared. And so what I want to show you is, again, my style. Everybody will tell you, go get prepared. Well, what do you prepare? You prepare, we'll start with your shelter. A lot of folks, if you've got pets, that's a good thing. They're your early alarm system, your early warning detection system. They'll give you those 15 seconds you need to grab whatever it is to protect your family and or secure what doors, windows are open. Pets are good. We encourage people with pets. A lot of the home invasions, they never had dogs. Had they had a dog, I don't think they would have been at home invaded. Something to think about. The other thing I want to mention too is alarms. Alarms are good. Making your place look. Can you see okay? We're good. Okay. Setting your place up so it doesn't look like Fort Knox. Don't make it look like it's the end-all and fortresses, because you're just inviting trouble. You have to keep your mindset as such. There's going to be a lot of bad people on the streets. They're going to be looking for opportunities. They're going to be looking for people who have, because they have not. And so we divide it up into the preppers, the people who are preparing for a hard time. And then there's the marauders. They don't care what happens. They just know there's people out there doing what we're doing, and we're going to be doing it for them. They don't care about your life. They don't care about their own lives. They're there just to survive and make money and or do what they do. That's another reason why we are prepared. What I want to tell you a little bit about is when you start prepping, I really recommend you buy some books. Just to show you a few, you've seen, here's the Herbal Medicine Maker's book. Some people are into the herbal medicines. You can do a lot with that. Surviving when modern medicine fails. Again, it's an inexpensive way to have a lot of items in your household that can do things better than what you can buy over the counter. And they're cheaper. You get more of it. And another book is called The Complete Book of Essential Oils. You've all heard of aromatherapy. We won't go too deep into that, but it's the idea of there's a lot of oils that, gosh, if you just had a smell, you can be calm, you can be together. It's not a time for panic. Again, because our God is our high tower, and if we are doing what we're supposed to be doing, there should be no fear, there should be no worry, right? Again, I like to buy a lot of different books on the same subject. This is an excellent book. This author here will tell you about the pros and cons of bugging out. Why would you leave your house to go somewhere safe? Is it really safe? Who's at the other end waiting for you? Have you prepared that place? How do you get to that place? There's a lot of dangers between point A and point B. A lot of people think it's safer just to stay home. You've got a pantry at home, you've got a kitchen, you've got your bedroom, you've got all your blankets, you've got your clothes, you've got everything you need. It's just a matter of being aware. You want to know your neighbors, if you can. Start meeting your neighbors, and you can start discerning who's with you, who's not, who doesn't care, who cares. And it's a good idea to know who people are. That's a good way to increase your chances of survival. Know what's around you. Always be aware. You've heard of the Neighborhood Watch program? That's a good thing. That was real big back in the 70s. And it's kind of slowed to a crawl right now. But there used to be a day when everybody had the sign posted in the neighborhood, watchdog Harry or whatever his name was, and any suspicious activity will be called in. That's a good thing. Always be aware of your surroundings. So now you've got books that will explain to you, and I just want to read a couple things to you, like this guy here. Right here. There we go. He talks bracing for impact, things to do beforehand, immediately afterward, what's going to happen, what's it going to look like, the short term, the long term. He gives you a lot of ideas to think about, but he'll give you the pros and he'll give you the cons. He plays the middle road, and that's kind of refreshing because not everybody can be, say, like this guy who lives in a cave in Arizona and is a little limited on the way we live here in Orange County. But he's got, nonetheless, a lot of good ideas, and it's a good book. But you really have to learn to pick from each one to make your whole. This guy's really good. I highly recommend this one. And Sam has this on the book list. This gentleman here lived through the 2001 Argentinian financial collapse. And so he's got first-hand experience, and he'll tell you what it's like to go out on the street and be aware when you go to the ATM. Yes?
Dave, what's the name of that book that you're holding in the author?
It's called Surviving the Economic Collapse. It's by Fernando Ferrell Aguilera. He's got a couple more books out since this book. But he puts it in a perspective that's ground zero for you. I've since have met people who have gone through the very time he speaks of on tourist buses, seeing the people banging on the banks with pots and pans, wanting their money. It's an eye-opener, and it's a real practical book too. So between these two, you get reality and you get the choices. Okay? A lot of times I'll get something like a wilderness survival book. So what if we hop on the freeway, we get stuck, now we're kind of in between A and B, and what do you do? Good book to look at. And then you also have, where did it go? There's another first aid book. And you can compare, again, what's in this book against what's in this book. Okay, this is using things that aren't always in nice, neat little packages. This is using things that are basically on the side of the road, out in the wilderness, anything after you leave the street. Again, I like having multiple books to compare notes to. We'll get to that. Let's see. Meds. Books. Okay, so we got the books covered. There's more books. Emergency. This is a great book too. They got a lot of lists, a lot of shopping lists, a lot of check this off kind of list, and that's a good thing to have. Places to write what you have, what you need, what you know. Okay. Another first aid book. Can't have enough of those because you will pick up something here. You will pick up something here. and just to round your knowledge off and not to adhere to any one mind. I think if we put it into our own spirit, the Lord will pull out what's useful, what's not, and He'll kind of be your guide. It's a good way to go. As far as prepping goes, I like to put things in multiple bags. You saw me walk in with my different bags. When you buy a first aid kit, a lot of times you're going to buy a first aid kit, you're going to notice there's 65 pieces in that. Well, 10 of those pieces are cotton balls. Another 15 of those are Band-Aids. So there's 25 pieces already, Band-Aids and cotton balls. I thought I need a little bit more than that. And so I took it upon myself to get something a little bigger. And this is my first aid kit. Okay, I've got everything from the light beacon to the fire starters to flashlights, different flashlights for different purposes. All right, your knives. In this kit here, I will carry my silverware, my filtration for water, a quick surgery kit for emergency. Put it together and let's keep moving until we get to the real help. Your sleeping, you've heard of your space blankets. These things work great. These work really good. A lot of rope, a lot of knives. Again, if you're stuck on the side of the road, you got your kit with you. I've got $10 in quarters. You never know when you might need a quarter, or you find the phone, or you don't have a phone. I keep water, your food bars. A lot of times I'll take this if we go to the cabin in Big Bear. We slide off the hill for whatever reason. I've got emergency lights I can light and have a beacon you can see from miles away. A mirror in case you need to flag an airplane, helicopter, rescue vehicle. I've broken everything down into Band-Aids and clear pockets like this, so anybody going through it, that's not me, can kind of see, okay, there's what he's talking about, there it is right there, I need that. Or here's my medicines here. So make it easy for yourself. Duct tape, everybody needs duct tape. Okay? The emergency vest in case you're at night. You gotta protect yourself. More Band-Aids for specific needs. Okay? A lot of those for, you're gonna incur people dying. They need help themselves in hydration and how to take care of them, how to keep them together, for lack of better words. Okay? You've seen everybody with the emergency waters. You want to keep those around. Those are great. Easy to store. You can stuff them anywhere. They're hard to pop. But when you need water, there you go. Those are 10 years old. I had one the other day and it tastes great.
How long do they last?
25 years shelf life.
Can you give us a reference to that later on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can reference just about everything. The emergency gloves. A lot of times you don't want to touch what's out there. You keep yourself. And I noticed you've got some gloves here. I've got many boxes, and then I've got many gloves of all different sorts: rubber gloves, leather gloves. Changing tires, helping somebody out of a disaster, a collapsed house, whatever it might be. You try to think of everything you can, and a lot of the secret is being still, recognizing God, and let Him speak to you. It's that still small voice that you want to try to nurture, and that'll lead you in the way of truth. That's the bottom line, really, to all this. Everybody, this was my camping bag. On my camping bag, I'll have, of course, the pots. I found this today at a garage sale for $5. You always keep your eyes open. Okay, that's you got your water, you got your filtration, you got your pots, pans, your silverware. We need some food. We've got cacciatore. Okay. We've got corn chowder. Yes, sir.
Do you have suggested places where we can source all this from?
Yes, we'll get to that.
Oh, okay, good.
Okay.
All right.
We'll get to that.
Is it on your printout?
No, we'll have to get that to you. I found there's so much stuff. I've had pages and pages to start photocopying. I picked out the best, and that's what I got for you now. A water shower. You can use it as a shower. You can use it also as water storage, so it's multi-purpose. Okay. This can be hooked up to your water filter, and it's just a quick squishy way to hold water and to if you don't have a bucket, you don't have anything to put it in. Okay? More barley vegetable soup. Okay? More space blankets. I was in 80 miles north of Mexico City about 12 years ago and had to make a hasty retreat out of Mexico, and a few of the stops I had getting out, it was very cold. I was so happy I had my space blankets with me, because they will keep you toasty, they will keep you warm. And they're cheap too, $2. You can find them on sale, 50 cents. Yeah. So a lot of it is, once you have that awareness of what it is you're looking for, and you start going through your normal life, things will start popping out at you. Ah, that's a sale. That's good. I'll take 5 of them, as many as you can afford. You go to the store. Start buying extra cans. Look at the date on the can. I don't have a can here to look at. But start noticing your cans of food. You can go to 99-cent stores. Take $20 and you can bring home 20 items. You know, we've got our closet filled with fresh fruit, soups, spaghettios, whatever you want. And the idea behind it is, and something I never did myself, was you look at the dates, all that's old, put in the back, and all the newer, put in the front, and you can use it. Just make a habit of buying 20 items a week more than you normally do, and just find a place and start stacking it. It's an easy thing to do. I was always kind of not wanting to do it because I didn't want to get into the system of having to write down what I have and what the date of it is. And it's really easy once you get a marker and just start writing on the can. April 2012. It gets really easy once you get into the habit of buying, supplying, using. It's a normal thing. Okay? We covered the first. This here, like I said, once you have an awareness of what it is you need and what you think you might need, I went to Ralph's to get some paper towels and some lunch meat. Walked out the door and I saw this on the side with all the charcoal. It's a little solar voltaic light. And if you're in the dark, this is light. It counts. And it's $1. So there's technology, a light, and you can see enough of what you're doing to get you by. All right? Same thing with all your battery powered, and I noticed, Sam, you've got one too, where it's just a kind of you crank it up, and you can tune in. Okay? We don't know what kind of communications we're going to have. But if you can get it on a solar, if you can get it on a crank, more power to you, literally. Okay? Once you go through and you start looking at like this, okay, waves for water, you can pick this up and this up. These are good for 400 people for 5 years. This one here guarantees you 1 million gallons. You get into some of the other ones, you start reading it, and it's only good for 25 gallons. And so you start noticing things, you start seeing the differences, they start standing out to you. And after a while you get, it just comes to you. You know, what do we need to start a fire? Not all the time will you have matches. Not all the time will you have a lighter. So you need your flint, you need your magnesium stick. Okay? And that's all for, you make your shavings, put it on a little bit of rope, or a little bit of cotton, a little bit of any kind of tinder, and then you'll strike it, and you'll get spark. And that's what is the ignition to your fire. Okay, so I like carrying multiple sources of flashlights, fire, how to start a fire, different band-aids, and they're all not the same. Sometimes it's better to buy quality. Sometimes the cheapers just don't stick. So again, the awareness will start growing. The more you start reading this stuff and you start looking at it. Again, this is an excellent book. It will give you the pros of this versus the cons of this. Okay? One of the things that some people will talk about, and something to think about, is if you have a way to barter. Money might not be useful. We're now facing a currency crisis. The dollar might not be worth anything. And then what do? Some people, I personally picked knives. I've got several different types of knives. There's a whole kitchen set of knives.
Rambo.
And what happens is, these are only like 25, 20, 19. You can pick up knives rather inexpensive. But what happens when civil disobedience hits, you don't have anything, you're going to pay anything to have one of these puppies, right? I used to live in Long Island, and we had a lot of storms back there, and if you got caught unprepared, you could always hop in your car and go find that parked car in the corner with the trunk open, and they had candles, they had kerosene, they had lanterns, but you'd pay 10 times more than you would in the store. You were at their mercy. Nothing wrong with that. It's supply and demand. And so I've taken it upon myself. Here's one, for example. That's Harbor Freight, $6. When time comes, you know how much this is going to be worth? You could get you a couple rolls of toilet paper, it could get you whatever it is you need at the time. So it's just something to think about. It might be, you've heard of, alcohol. There's a lot of people who gotta have their bourbon, gotta have their vodka, gotta have their drink at night. Costco, you can stock up on this stuff rather cheap, and then you'll have something should the word get out, or you need to barter for something you don't have. It's again just a means of acquiring. That's all it is. So again, I spent a couple years, and this is just one of my bags of whatever it is you think you might need. It's like a savings account. Okay? Seriously. The other thing I wanted to show you is a lot of people, I had a client the other day, she came up to me, I was working at her home, and she asked me, Dave, I don't know how big a space I need to store my gold in or my silver. And it's like, well, no. And I brought her out and I showed her, here's what an ounce of gold looks like. Okay? It comes in 1 ounce, it comes in ½ ounce. You can buy it in 20ths, or 10ths and 20ths. So it's not like you have to part with $1,000 and have a piece of gold. You can pick up something like this for about $75. And when things hit the fan, this could be worth a few hundred or more. We don't know. Nobody knows really. But it's so you know too, you don't have to think big. You don't have to buy the bricks. You don't have to buy the, okay? Again, if you're out on the streets, and you want to get yourself something from the table, but you don't have the money. Oh, but you got one of these. What can I do? Oh yeah, you can have that. There you go. I'm okay, right? Or if that's not your thing, something a little cheaper is silver. You've got your silver eagles, and you've got what they call rounds. And that's what this is here. These are just, they're decorative, commemorative rounds. That's why they're fancy. But it's basically just 1 ounce of silver. Right now it's worth about $14.65. Should there be a currency collapse, should anything happen, some speculate this right here could be worth as much as $85, $100. I've heard people say $1,500 because there is a ratio that has historically been, how many of these do you need to buy one of these? Okay, it's always been around 45 of these to buy one of these. Right now it's a little lopsided. It's about 60 of these to get one of these. So if this someday, it could be worth 5 grand, 6 grand. I've heard quotes of 10. Nobody knows. But if this goes up, this is going to follow. They're related, okay? Just to give you, again, an idea of what you need, what to think about. It doesn't take a lot of space. You can put it in a baggie and put it in your overcoat in your closet. Most people are looking for things up high or things underneath or things stuffed in couches, mattresses, or whatnot. You don't go through your pockets and look for gold or you don't have time. It's just something to think about, okay? The other thing you want to think about is, again, let me just hang on a minute. You've got your garbage bags. Oh, you know what? You don't have, you know what? I told you earlier. These things here, you need a lot of those things, and you need a lot of these things. Toilet bags. Whether you want to use this or this on your commode in your restroom, or use these on a bucket, you got to do it some way. Because if there is no water, what do? You're kind of blessed with having a pool, because you can just fill the tank with a bucket, and you still got flush power until you run out of
These
it.
bags are actually, when I bought it, it's for more trash together. I have a medium size for only 8 gallons.
Yeah,
So the 5 to 8 gallons will be the one like yours, total bag.
Yeah.
These are for more
these
tons
are
of
13.
trash. Yeah, for tons of trash, and I can just, I got a few boxes of that if I need to talk.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And then the other thing too that we talked about the other night was Clorox. Get yourself a lot of Clorox.
Right there, I have it.
You have it?
At the bottom.
Okay. No. Yeah.
The Clorox,
I don't think that's Clorox.
That's water.
What's water? But get yourself a lot of Clorox, because you can use that to disinfect your water. You can use that to clean rooms. You can clean that. You know, there's going to be a lot of diseases, a lot of airborne pathogens. There's going to be a lot of things that need to be sanitized. Every time you come into your home after leaving, when civil disobedience happens, you'll want to, again,
Yeah, same thing, this is the same thing actually.
that's why she has the disinfecting wipes. There's going to be a strong need to be really clean when civil disobedience happens. All right? Bleach is cheap. Gotta have a lot of toilet paper.
Yeah, 144 rolls, okay guys? Just kidding.
But again, you can use that for bartering.
Yeah, people want it.
Okay? Anything that you need, other people are going to need, and if you can buy extra or more so of it, that's a good thing. A lot of this, a lot of your gold and silver, a lot of your supplies. Water's a good bartering. Your knives or your weapons, I don't care if you're into archery or if you're into guns, ammo, bullets, are going to be worth like currency. That's as far far as our tent, the bartering goes, tools. Everybody, again, at home, you've got your gardening tools, you've got your garage tools, you've got your things that you'll need to either construct with, or you got tools to destruct with. And another thing you might think about is bolt cutters. What if there's something you need to get into or to get at, and it's a matter of clipping a lock? There's not going to be no law. If civil disobedience happens, it's going to be a free-for-all. And there are things that we can do in good conscience and still take care of ourselves, because there won't be a violation there, if you will. Something to think about. Again, I like to refer back to, if I have nothing better to do, let's pick a chapter and read it. And you can always go online and look at YouTube, watch a video, read the comments. A lot of times people don't pay attention to the comments, but a lot of times you'll get 100, 200, 500 people, and if you read through them, you'll see a thread, a common thread, and that's what I use to base a decision on whether I need it or I don't, or if it's good or bad, or the idea is off base or in line, or, okay? Something to think about.
You asked you a little about the toilet. I think that's very crucial. Like when people don't have swimming pool.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that when we talked about a portable trash can, how did you make it to a toilet? Like our toilet?
Well,
Can I mention that later?
I like your idea,
Yeah.
using the 5-gallon bucket, or is that your idea? A 5-gallon bucket with one of these, put in the bucket, buy one of the pool noodles the kids play with. It's a piece of foam, round, and it's got the slice in it so you can open it up. Cut that and put it around the seat, the opening of the bucket. It makes for a comfortable place to sit. All right. They make neat disposable stools too. Where'd they go? And you've seen them too. They're kind of it looks like a TV tray with a hole kind of in the top of it. Those are portable and quick to set up and take down and move. It's an idea. But again, your bags, your disinfectants, your Clorox, all important. Should you start running across animals, dead animals, you want to pick them up, put them in here, dispose, clean, disinfect the place where they come from. You want to do everything you can to keep your homes clean, keep your surroundings clean. You're not going to have a trash service. You're not going to have a lot of services you're used to. And so that's where we have to pick up the slack. And it's what you're going to do with this, and your Clorox. Okay? Anything else I'm missing?
You want to talk about EMP bags a little bit?
EMP bags? Well, I noticed you've got a really neat thing too. I noticed you've got a solar voltaic panel here, and this is an ideal thing to have too, because if you don't have the batteries, and in the handout I'm going to give you, it talks a little bit about the different types of batteries that are out there, which ones have what shelf life and which ones drain faster than others. If you've got one of these, then a rechargeable battery system is feasible. These things, if we do have cell phones, if we do have something that needs charging, you can use one of these and take care of most of your needs with. You can buy different.
Where do you get these?
Would you?
I have to find out what's that for you guys.
What's EMP stand for?
Electromagnetic pulse. It's a device that can be, like that. Any kind of a nuclear bomb set off above where we live will disrupt all of our electronics. So what you were alluding to earlier was...
Right here in the bag there, you can open it up and then to see what kind of charger they can use, so that it's a possibility.
Well, this all has to do with this.
Yeah, so it's connected.
Yeah. Okay, now all this is to connect you to either this, what you're charging, or your battery. Now I myself have, I've got the Harbor Freight. They have kits you can buy, you can get 3 panels, 45 watts each.
Yeah, I have
No,
them.
15.
I don't want to scare them, but I didn't bring it out.
Well, no, they're big panels like this, bigger,
Yeah, big.
and you set them up, and they're 15 watts each panel, which gives you 45 watts, and they give you a little charge controller and a couple light bulbs and some length of wire. So if you had to, in a pinch, set up some lights like this, you could. All right. This is great because it's mobile. It's easy to carry. I like that. That's nice.
I have a few of this generator. I didn't bring it out because I don't want you guys to feel like, wow, there's so much stuff to do. But that's something that on the generator, and the option of getting a 3 solar panel with it, you literally can charge your refrigeration, so your food won't go bad. But if you guys want to see, I can bring it out. It's a little heavy, and they prefer you to pre-charge it first, so that way it's got a backup of certain already electronics in there. So when you really have something hit, you just gotta let the solar do the job.
Now, what you were talking about is this puppy here.
Yeah.
Now, if there was to be an EMP go off or an explosion, anything you have in this will be protected. This is a copper-clad bag that will hold your electronic devices, like I don't have on now, and that's a way to protect it. You could build your own. You could take any kid's play box and line it with copper. That can all be bought at Home Depot. Just as long as it's copper-clad inside, that will protect what electronics you have. You just hope there's somebody out there who's did the same, who can send a transmission to you and you can pick up on it. But yeah, that's a good thing to have. That's good. And then I think what else we want to talk about is, give me a clue. You got your tools, money, defense. We talked about defense a little bit. You got your pets. I think that a little dog or a big dog, they'll bark when something's not right. That's your 15 seconds to get whatever you got to protect yourself ready. I've talked to some people, and a lot of these guys here will tell you it's a good thing to have a shotgun, a 12 gauge. That's for close quarters. Something as far as a personal defense, a handgun. I don't know how you all feel about that, but to each his own. You can do, not a gun, but you can do pepper spray, bear spray. There's different things you can do, tasers, bright flashlights. I've got a few flashlights that keep around, not unlike these, but they're the kind of flashlights where if you're hitting the eyes with them, you can't see nothing for a couple seconds, and that's your advantage to make a move and to run, beat feet, or diffuse a situation. Okay. Pepper spray, maze, all that's good stuff. A lot of these books too, like you were talking about the refrigeration, a lot of times we'll keep gallons of water frozen in our freezer, because if the power goes out, that gallon of frozen water will prolong the life of your freezer and what's stored in there. A lot of times when you furnish food for the refrigerator, the pantry, the freezer, you'll have an order in which to eat it. Things in the refrigerator, the perishables first, your frozen's next, and the things in the closets and the pantries last. Just so you're aware, again. And a lot of that, and everything I'm talking about, is covered in a lot of these books here. This guy, again, is a fantastic read. And he talks about what it means to keep your wife, to keep your children safe. The new chores the man is supposed to do now that the wife used to do, but she can't because there's all kinds of questionable people walking around looking for opportunities. You don't want your wife and your kids in harm's way, and so we'll be doing a lot of the things should civil disobedience happen in this country. Okay. Any questions?
Do you recommend 25 or 15 years shelf life of seats?
Seeds are good to have if you've got the property to plant them or the means to plant them. Gardening is a good thing if you got a green thumb and you're inclined to have a few pots and grow your vegetables. I just had a gentleman the other day give me a book. A 4x4 garden can feed a family of 6 for a year. You know, freeze dried, that's got a 25-year shelf life. There's a lot of other items too. You can buy yourself a dryer or a dehydrator and keep dehydrated fruits, vegetables, and they've got a long shelf life. Your powdered milk, a lot of your seeds, grains, your granolas and that kind of stuff has a long shelf life. Something that vacuum seals it will prolong that shelf life. That's something to think about. And again, it's just, I keep these things handy throughout the house, and if I'm going to sit for a minute and I'm waiting for a phone call, I'll pick up something and, oh yeah, I'll make a mental note next time I'm out. It just seems to fall in my path. That's what this is here. $5 at a garage sale. I know you can buy them at Big Five for about 20, I think, 20 or 25. Some people don't know what they're throwing away or what they're selling, and that's just our opportunity. Okay.
Like you said that, sometimes we can be in between places. What kind of thing can we prepare in our car to get at least basic cover? I know majority of us sometimes will be at home, but what we recommend to bring in the car?
In the car, I keep a basic, something like this, not as extensive. But when we do travel, I'll take this with me, even though I have a first aid and something a little less than that, just because I've got a lot of extra stuff in there. Whenever I go on a job site or I'm out of town, I'll take this with me because it's got my quarters, it's got everything I need to put myself back together. It's got the water, it's got the emergency bars. I could survive easy with this bag here for 3 days, 4 days if I had to. That would be no problem.
So what kind of food do you put in the bag if you need to be out there?
Well, right off the bat, I always keep the food bars. They're not exciting, but they will keep you alive. Okay.
What kind of shelf life?
You've got water. This thing's a brick, and that'll last. I wouldn't say indefinitely. It feels like it when you feel it.
Wow.
It's hard. But then again, that's why I put things in different bags. I've got the camping bag, or if something was, we had to bug out real quick. I've got all these by the door. Let's grab this one, let's grab this one, let's go. And there's no thinking about which drawer I put the batteries in, or which drawer had the matches, and which closet did I put the bag in. You always want to be ready.
Do you recommend some money in an emergency bag or coins? What do you recommend?
I like coins.
Coins.
Coins, I've got $10 in quarters. You're prone to have a little silver laying around, a little gold laying around. You don't, like I said, have to have big bricks like that thing passing around, laying around. A lot of times people have old coins laying around. Anything prior to 1962 has about a 90% silver volume to it. So if you had a quarter, it's not a 25-cent quarter, it's about a $12 quarter in silver. Okay? It's called junk change. Anything prior to 1962. Okay? Dollars, low bills, little bills, 1s, 5s, 10s. I'll keep some of those handy and travel with. You don't want to be out in public with large bills. You don't want to be out in public with big gold bars or big silver bullion and asking someone to change it for you. You want to be as little target as possible. Okay, there's some good stories on the internet about people who've had all the bells and whistles on their house. They've had the high fences. They've had, the fortress built for them, and it's only a target. You're asking for trouble. You're asking for somebody. Just try it. Try and see if you can get in. And then the people in this particular story I'm thinking about, were vacationing in the Middle East. They were at a friend's house with the big gates and the high fences, and they felt secure, and the owner kind of boasted on how prepared he was and how he's ready for anything. But he wasn't ready for everything at once to come in. And the guest made it out the back door to another friend's house that was a lot less conspicuous looking, kind of run down, if you will. And they had no problem, and they survived the week till they could get out of the country. So you don't want to make it look like you've got the whole show and you can show the world how to do it. All right? Yes, sir.
What do you recommend about how to deal with water, drinking water if you're on the run?
Drinking water on the run.
How do you
You've got
how do you
things.
pack it out?
Well, you can get yourself a lot of different straws they make now, where you just carry the straw, and if you can find a puddle anywhere, that means you can drink it with this.
Life straw.
Life straw. Okay. You can get these kind of, these are shillelagh. You can fill that up with any kind of water except, I think, pool and salt, and that'll get out everything you need to drink. But these have, again, a shelf life. When you get something like this, they make these portable. This unit particularly hooks up to a 5-gallon bucket. And so if I'm traveling and I see I just happen to have my 5-gallon bucket with me with all my other stuff in it, I can pick up any kind of water I want, attach this to the bottom just like that, and I can have fresh water and a renewable filter that will sustain me for years. This is a good, and these are cheap too, these are $50.
Do you recommend a little gasoline tank? That's full of gas on the vehicle?
It's one of those gray areas where if you're going to travel, you best know where you're going and map it and know exactly what it takes to get there. A lot of times you have gas strapped to your car, you're just making yourself look like a target. And unless you get some quality cans to keep it inside the car, it's going to smell and you're not going to want it in there. So it's something that you're going to either have it to get it where you know you're going, but it's not something you carry around happenstance in case the gas station's closed. So the whole idea behind prepping is you're trying to stock your house or where you live with enough supplies for a minimum of 2 weeks. In those 2 weeks, you're going to avoid the stores because it only takes less than 4 hours to clear out a supermarket like Ralph's. If panic hits, it's going to be over in 4 hours, and there's going to be all kinds of people looking for anything they can get their hands on. Okay? So when you see things start breaking loose, you don't want to be in public, you want to be to yourself or be in your community, know who's home, who's not, keep your eyes open, who's got lights on, who doesn't. So you're always aware. You're trying to build in a new awareness of your surroundings, what people are doing around you. This gentleman here has a great blog, and he talks about and puts on videos of all different types of scenarios of people going into like apartment buildings where they have security doors. I watched one last night. A man and a woman came in late, about 2 a.m., caught the door and locked it, opened it, and a lady, a well-dressed lady, said, wait, let me hold the door for me, please. And she came in with the person, looked like she belonged there. As soon as they left, she held the door. Another accomplice came in. And he had pizza box and some Coke. They all hopped in the elevator together. Inside was a gun and a knife and whatever else they had. They went up to these people's apartment, tied them up, got the ATM cards out, beat them till they gave up the numbers. 2 of them left to go get the ATM cards checked out and to get as many funds, as much money as they could. The other guy stayed there, used their own suitcases to loot their own apartment. And when they all met back up after an hour, The all three left with them tied up in poor condition and most of their belongings and their accounts empty. And there's a lot of different crime that's going to be happening out there. Virtual kidnappings. People calling you on the phone telling you their loved one has been kidnapped and if I don't get a ransom in the next 10 minutes they're going to be dead. And you'll hear the screaming, you'll hear the commotion, but there won't be anybody there because you don't know where your loved one is, but they think they got one over on you and you're going to do anything to get them back. But there's a new awareness you're going to try to nurture and try to keep your eyes open. If you see people standing around in public, why are they standing around? You're going to notice how people are, what they're wearing, where they're at, how they position themselves, who they're talking to, what are they talking about. And so if you can stay home in the comfort of your own shelter, why would you be on the streets? What you're going to try to think through is get everything in this house you need so you don't have to be out there. The first couple of weeks is going to be real chaotic, and that's not the place to be. Ideally, if you could put 2 months of supplies together, you'd be even better off. You know? And then you're going to be thinking also, too, about smell. When civil disobedience happens, you're not going to light the fire or the barbecue and throw on a couple steaks and let everybody know you've got beef in your barbecuing. You're going to have more people knocking at your door or busting your door down than you care to imagine. So where do you cook and what do? You know, you do it incrementally. If you got a fireplace, you can cook with the Dutch oven. You can cook with one of these. Keep it down low. Be aware. You know. They make, before I answer that, I think Costco is a really good source for a lot of food.
You mentioned something about a freeze dry. I didn't know freeze-dried foods.
They sell freeze-dried, but they also have a really neat for, I forgot how much it cost, but it was a crazy cheap price. And you can get yourself 50 foldable boxes that you unfold and fill with water and you can store in your home. Okay, and then somewhere here they make tablets you can put in to the water to help preserve it. Or again, you can use your Clorox and add Clorox to your water, let it sit and kill 99.9% of everything in there. Okay, because you don't want to look like you're carrying in crates of water to your home because anybody watching, they'll make notes. So everything you do, you want to do it under the wire. If that makes sense.
Communication devices, let's say cell phones out, landlines are out. I've got family in Gardena 50 miles away. Any solution to that? How to communicate with them?
Yeah, this gentleman here has some real good ideas, and he talks about, and that's part of what I'm going to hand out to you, is a disaster or a disaster plan. If you've got relatives 50 miles away, you've got to let them know that they're going to be your target. And that's where your family, if you're all separated, working in school, and at the job site, in the marketplace, you get caught on the outside. We're going to meet 50 miles away. Everybody's got 10 hours to get there. That's about all you can do. Let people know what's the best way to get there. Look at your maps. Be familiar with the different routes. If the freeways are going to be jammed, what about bicycles, motorcycles, walking? If we do have phones, you want to let the people where you're going know and make all your communication to them and let every member of your family check in with them and call that your base. But again, it's an awareness that you want to share with your relatives, or you know. But a lot of these books, and I think this brochure I'm going to give you talks about how to put together a plan for you and your family, and how to execute it, and what to do, and what numbers are relevant. Knowing phone numbers. How many people know all the phone numbers in your phone? Everybody's speed dial. I want to call my wife. I want to call my son, it's just one punch of a button. I couldn't tell you his phone number if my life depended upon it. So a lot of times, if your cell phones are shot and you get a chance at a payphone, I've got the quarters right here, right? And then you gotta know some phone numbers. When my son was in college, he had a friend who got put in jail on a Friday night. His mother didn't know it till Monday morning, late Monday morning, because he didn't know his mother's phone number. So he had one phone call, but he didn't know who to call. She couldn't call him because he lost a cell phone. So again, that's where we just trust, again, in the Lord. He has a way of making all things work out for the better.
Do you recommend a walkie-talkie system?
Again, if you can protect them, keep them in your EMP box. And if everybody's got one of those boxes and can keep it in there.
What's the range for those?
Some of those you can get about 30 miles as a crow flies.
Wow.
10 miles out my I don't think it really get 30 miles. But what happens is my daughter in Phoenix studied with some friends of ours, their daughter there. So we have her problems there.